What is up, YouTube? Jamie the Kid00 here, bringing you guys another deck profile after World Superstars, except this one is going to be one of the first deck profiles after it that doesn't actually include anything from World Superstars. This is going to be my Qliphort list. The more observant of you guys will have seen me testing it on Dueling Network and DevPro if you follow me about on there. I've just been testing a bit of a fun version that one of my teammates gave me the idea for, so big shout outs to Mr. Swan for giving me the idea for this. But this is essentially Qliphort Turbo. It just turbos through the deck as fast as it physically can to get to its tool and plays a very aggressive game style for at least the way I've been building this. So I'm not really going to hold you guys up too much. I'm going to go through this list, but I think it's a little bit more fun than the standard just grindy version, which plays a lot back row. So we're going to start off this with the one Qliphort Monolith. I only need the one in this. You're only going to be realistically using it for your explosive plays, and you do play a few other kind of low scales in the deck. So the one Monolith is plenty for this list. Admittedly, I do only play the 3 targets for a Summoner's Art, but in all honesty, if you find the first Summoner's Art and if you find the Summoner's Art and it's dead, you've already won because you've already got to this. I played, of course, the 2 Scout. Sad to see it at 2, but it is what it is. It hurts the consistency of this deck, which is pretty good because this deck was ridiculously consistent. So the 2 Scout in tandem with the Monolith being our normal monsters. Monolith's just a ridiculous card because of the amount of draws it lets you net in this deck. And then Scout, of course, insane simply because of its search effect. Then for the actual Qliphort effect monsters, I play 3 copies of Qliphort Carrier and 3 copies of the other generic 6 in the form of Qliphort Helix. These just form your stock, your generic guys that you're going to keep rotating again and again and again. You'll find with this deck you don't really need all that much removal. You don't need main decked MSTs and you don't need main decked Raigekis and Darkholes because A, you don't fear the gen lock all that much, and B, you have monster removal and spell trap removal inbuilt. So they're pretty good. We, of course, do side the MSTs because, of course, when side decks come into the equation, all of a sudden that statement is a lot less relevant. But when you consider the main deck kind of composition of the meta right now, you really don't need any other outs than the tribute effects of these cards. So those are the 6s. For the higher level guys, I'm playing the 1 Qliphort Stealth, simply for space reasons in this list because of its nature. I'm having to play 3 discs, so I'm only playing the 1 Stealth. And the 1 Stealth has been plenty. I've been using it for really explosive plays or when I'm wanting to shoot for game, but currently I'm only playing the 1 Stealth, and it's been all I need. So 1 Stealth, and I'm playing 3 copies of Qliphort Disc. Disc is in here for 2 main reasons. 1, because this is a really, really aggressive version, and the fact this guy swings for 18, 18, and 28 when you tribute summon it, basically, is absolutely insane. It's also a level 7, which becomes a lot more relevant when you get into the spells, so we're playing those discs and the stealth. And that rounds off the complete actual Qliphort lineup. Everything else we play is not Qliphort, monster-wise anyway. For the rest of the monsters, we're playing 2 more 7s in the form of 2 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. You guys will remember this from the preliminary Qliphort lists of old, back when we were trying to find as many ways as possible to search into our tools and then realised we didn't really need them. Odd Eyes is that card. Odd Eyes is in here because it searches 3 targets, I believe. 3 different targets in my main deck. Not just the tool, it does search the next 2 cards we're going to go through. It's also a 7 for the engine that I was referring to before, and it's also a pretty cool other double tribute that you can use in the deck that can actually deal massive damage because of its actual monster effect of inflicting double battle damage when it attacks over things. So it can actually surprisingly win you games, and it has won me games in the past by tribute summoning it over 2 Qliphorts, and of course that will give you more draws off your Monolith. So Odd Eyes is something I've been having fun with. Also very relevant, its pendulum scale is 4, so you do not have to worry about this. So you can use this guy for your low pendulum in tandem with Scout. So the 2 Odd Eyes. And the only other 2 monsters I'm playing are, this is a proxy for a Performer Pal Trampolinx because I don't actually own one. I'm trying to find one, but for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to get it recorded as fast as possible. So the 1 Trampolinx, and then I'm playing 1 copy of Rescue Hamster. Rescue Hamster is something I'm testing instead of Climate Change. Climate Change is something I might pop back in, but at the moment I've been having a lot of fun with Rescue Hamster. His main monster effect is actually pretty irrelevant. You'll almost never use it. In fact, I've never actually used it myself in this deck. In fact, it's impossible to use in this deck, but its effect in the Pendulum Zone is you can banish this card from your Pendulum Zone and add 2 face-up Pendulum monsters with the same name from your extra deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So it lets you add 2 guys out of your extra deck, and you can search it off of Odd Eyes. So something I've been having a bit of fun with. It's also a Pendulum scale of 5, so you can use it to summon your Qliphorts alongside Scout, so it's been a pretty consistent card. I'm really enjoying using it. So that brings me to about the end of the monster lineup. For the spell lineup, we play the 1 Book of Moon. This is the only generic spell, generic one-off that we play in the deck. It's just really versatile, really useful, so I really like using this. It's our only out to the gen lock that we main deck, other than the carriers and the stealth. Continuing through, play the one sacrifice, the one lonely sacrifice. You find yourself often not needing it. If you want to break the game, you want to open this card and you want to search it with your tool and open it, but otherwise you're not really going to use it elsewhere. You're usually going to use this on turn 1. Turn 2, you're going to summon your disc. That's the only time you'll use this. We're then playing 2 copies of Sacred Sword of 7 Stars. This is why we're playing all of those lovely 7s. The 7s, of course, complement the deck anyway. They're by no means forced into the engine, but when you bring these 7s to bear and they're not quite suitable for the situation, you are going to want to 7-star sword them away. So that's pretty cool. Like, you'll often 7-star sword this away if you already have your scout, and you'll 7-star sword away your disc if you don't need to make the aggressive play just yet. Cool thing about the disc is, of course, it's a Qliphort, so you can actually search the level 7 for this card, making this a +1 if you've used the scout. So that's pretty cool. So there's the 2 swords, and then we move into the 3 elves, which just speed this deck up. We're playing 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. This is a 40-card deck. Playing 3 copies of Pot of Duality to move us through the deck. If you're not going to be special summoning, if you're not going for big aggressive plays, and if you're not going for aggressive plays, you usually don't have them. So you're going to use the Duality to find them. We're then playing 3 Summoner's Art, so more deck thinning, just getting us to our normal monsters. You can use this to search out Scout and Monolith, both very, very powerful cards for the deck. And then finally we're playing 3 copies of Forbidden Chalice because this is an absolutely ridiculously good card. It's so versatile in my opinion, and I simply just love this for having a Qliphort on the board that's like 18, like having a disc just chilling on the field, having this set behind it, your opponent attacks and you go damage step. Yeah, this is 32 now, so that's pretty nice. 3 Chalice, rounding off the spell lineup. Very, very simple. Then for the rest of the lineup, we are playing a few traps. We're playing Double Mind Crush. I feel like they're really, really good in the meta right now, so I'm having a lot of fun with them. These could come out for more, quote, real traps, but I've definitely been enjoying these. Double Soul Transition. Soul Transition is ridiculous because it turns your carriers and the helixes into traps. You can play Soul Transition in your opponent's turn if you've got your normal summoned Helix Scout, sorry, Helix Carrier or any of the others if they were normal summoned without tribute. You can use this in your opponent's turn or in your turn to draw 2. But if you tribute your, you can use this especially well in your opponent's turn to tribute off your carrier and bounce one of their monsters, which is really, really nice. And you get to draw 2, and you possibly net a +1 if you've like bounced their Xyz monster that they committed resources into. So Soul Transition, definitely a very, very, very good card in this deck. And then for 3 1-ofs, I'm playing the 1 Recliate, because Skill Drain's a good card. Speaking of which, playing the 1 Skill Drain, and then we're playing the 1 Vanity's Emptiness to round off the complete main deck. Then for the extra deck, we are playing a very generic clobber of rank 4s, followed by a few kind of good 5s. But this is mainly for when we use our trampolines. So I'm playing the 1 Exciton Knight, the 1 101, the 106, the Castell, the Dweller, the Gaga Cowboy, Ken Gorgon, which is actually really quite important because it lets you redirect your opponent's MSTs away from your Scout when you replay the Scout. So that's pretty damn good. Rhapsody and Berserk for the Necros matchup. Rebellion Dragon for attacking over really big targets that you just can't get past. Diamond Direwolf, this allows you to clear your board if this is the only card you leave on the field. You Xyz into it, you pop it, and you pop your opponent's monster, so you don't get trished. It's just a thing. Larval Chain for arranging the top card of the deck. Constella Deltaros. Sorry, not Constella. What am I on about? Satella Knight Deltaros. It's because it's Portuguese, it threw me off. Constella Knight Deltaros, so you're using this for mainly for effect removal, but you're also using it to summon into this guy, Satella Knight Constella Diamond. It's simply because if you have the Trampolinks and you pendulum summon 3 guys, you can then use the Trampolinks to bounce the other card that's stopping you summoning other things. You overlay the 3 into this, and then you overlay into this, and that's a really, really good, useful card against the entire Shadol matchup and the Burning Abyss matchup, so it's really, really useful for that. We're then playing the 1 Volcasaurus. If you summon 2 Scouts, or if you summon Scout Monolith off of a Pendulum Summon, you can make this, so it's kind of cool. And then finally I'm playing the 1 Constella Ptolemy M7, simply because I've had a couple of situations where I've come out from under Skill Drain and I've had all my guys be 6s, and I've wanted to be able to make something. Otherwise, he's also in here because you can make him over Diamond in the event you actually need him. So that was a thing. I hope you've all enjoyed. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. I know I used to really badmouth Qliphort, but I'm actually having a lot of fun with the way this deck plays because it's actually a lot faster and a lot more unique than a lot of the Qliphort lists I've actually been seeing. So shout outs again to Mr. Swan for giving me this list, or giving me this concept. I mean, I developed it into a list. But I will see if I can bring you duels with this, guys. It's probably going to be Dueling Network. But otherwise, yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this. I hope you've enjoyed. As per usual, please feel free to like the video if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe if you want to see more of the same. Share this with all of your friends if you think they'd benefit from this. And leave me a comment down below if you want to talk to me about the list. Because I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of chatter about this one. But yeah, this has been Jamie the Kid 00, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.